Thank you for the introduction. It will be best if I start with hello world. Welcome to my talk, PHP Devs Change Your Life. I'm thrilled to be here with you today at Notes 2022. Oh, sorry. Let's start with the introduction. My name is Michal Štefaňák and I'm originally from Slovakia. I started programming when I was 12 years old, and first language I learned was PHP. I work as a software developer for 13 years, and I have experiences with software development, game development, AR, VR, automatizations, robots, and machines. I have won Graphy Award in 2021 as most valuable player in ecosystems for my PHP Bolt driver, which provides possibility to communicate with graph database like Neo4j from PHP programming language. I already made multiple projects with this technology stack, PHP and Neo4j, and I am looking forward to see more usage of this great stack in the world. Why Neo4j and how it started? I believe my life changed the PHP conference in Brno in Czechia in 2015, where I saw a presentation about Neo4j for the first time. I was interested about this technology, and I have kept in my mind the vision about how I want to use it when I will have the opportunity. That opportunity came after 4 years in 2019 when I was creating system for management of employees' rights for the company I was working at. Using this graph database brought new kind of joy into programming I didn't even knew before. I don't understand why I didn't use it sooner. Of course, the start was bumpy because there was no tools or libraries for PHP, but the situation today is different and way better. Why PHP and Graph Database? Why do I talk about PHP on conference about graph databases at all? PHP is used by thousands of companies and millions of developers. It powers more than 78% of all the websites whose server-side programming language is known, such as Wikipedia and WordPress. That is a lot. Those are astonishing numbers. It is a really big chunk of World Wide Web which is used every day by most of the people on the whole earth. PHP brought a lot of improvements in last years and I love to work with it. I believe I am not the only one who loves to come back into PHP. PHP was created for a simple goal to provide easy creation of powerful websites. It is well-known language over the world. From the beginning, the stack settled with shortcut LAMP. This shortcut means Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. As we can see from the history, the original stack named LAMP evolved onto different systems like Windows or Mac OS, and letter L changed into X. Also, it evolved into different technologies like Nginx or Roadrunner, where the letter stayed the same like with the database letter, which also stayed the same. Of course, there are also NoSQL databases like Redis or MongoDB, but many times they are just addition to relational database. I believe it is time to advance into world of graph databases like Neo4j and switch from petrified SQL database. I know for some web developers, it's hard to switch into something different than relational databases, which they were using for decades. However, the transition is simple and fast. As a result, you will receive something better, I promise. And how will look the new shortcut for this stack? I do not dare to guess. Let's talk about what benefits it will bring. Neo4j is well scalable and they also have very nice demo with trillion of nodes available on GitHub. That means you don't have to worry when you switch from your fat SQL database. Agile is great not only for faster development but also for deployment. Some of you probably have experiences with deploying delta changes of your SQL structure on production. Most of the time, it is problematic. Graph database doesn't have fixed structure, and your changes from code will immediately work on production after deployment. When you are planning scheme for your data, it works like mind map, and not only developers will understand it. With SQL database, you have to process the mind map into tables and there is no way back. And people like product managers usually have problems to understand table structures. Many times I even have met experienced programmers who had problems to read them. But mind map, a scheme for database, works for everybody. At last, data science. I have met people with opinion where graph database is useful only if you are doing data science. That is not true. You can start using graph database as you use relational database today. But back to to data science. It is something what really grows these days, and it is great when you can gain more with the data you already have. If your website has all data stored in graph database, you can immediately work on data science. No need for any transitions. I have friend who works in one company, and when they use data science to analyze their data they have discovered, there are short gaps when advertising was missing. They filled these gaps with custom owned commercials and they earn a few thousands more dollars each month. That's great. One more thing. Web developers often use Elasticsearch as additional database for better search features, but Elasticsearch uses Lucene search engine, which is also available in Neo4j. As I have mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, the start with PHP and Neo4j was bumpy because there were missing tools. I have made the foundation for this stack and for community which is Bolt library. Bolt is specification made by Neo4j company for binary communication with graph database over TCP socket. This library is low level and it's easy to implement. I have received Graphy Award for it and currently it has almost 100,000 downloads over Composer. That's amazing number. There are millions of people going through my driver. I made this library in my free time on a notebook while traveling by bus every day from work to home. I still take care of it, and thanks to Neo4j team, I'm able to keep it updated with newest bold versions. If you are looking for something advanced, you can use PHP client made by Glenn Nigels. Great guy, by the way. This client implements bold library, but but it has also support for HTTP API endpoint of Neo4j. It is aimed to be at enterprise level, and there are features like connection pooling, handling cluster connections with routing, bookmarks manager, error recovery, and even more. You can also find useful implementations for most popular PHP frameworks, and all this community content is available for you on GitHub. Feel free to try it. I hope I gave you a tingle with this presentation. To try technology stack, PHP and graph database like Neo4j, and it will be a jump into the right direction for you or your company. I challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone and give it a try. You won't regret it. Thank you all for your attention. Do you have any questions? I'm not sure. Huh. Thanks, Jambar. Thank you, guys. I love Neo4j. It's one of the best things which ever happened to me in my life. And it is great opportunity to speak at Notes 2022 for you. I am so thankful to be here with you. If you have any questions, just ask. If you want, you can also message me anytime on the Hopin. I am there. You can find me by my name or by my speech at this time. It seems I still have some time and there is no questions. I will tell you. Thanks, David. I will tell you one more application I made with Graph Database. It's software for. Can you recommend a tutorial or workshop? I was using the Neo4j documentation, which is really there is everything you need to know, and they have really good learning center on the Neo4j site you can use. I was spending time there to learn more stuff, and also if you don't know, you can join the Discord of Neo4j and ask there. There is a lot of helpful people. How long was the bus ride from the work to the home? It took me like 1 hour, and I was programming for 2 weeks. The basic of the driver, the first version, which means it's 2 weeks by 1 hour. It's like 10 hours. It was pretty fast. And I wanted to say you about the implementation I made with one company. It was a glass workshop company. They are creating stuff from the glass by the hands, like the manufacture workshop, and they wanted a system for production planning to automatize to create like automatization for production planning. And I made a software for them with Neo4j Graph Database, which is automatically planning the production, and it's really complex metrics how all the colors and shapes are combined in the production. And if they have a lot of orders, it takes a few months to calculate upfront. It's really amazing. You can really use Neo4j like any other database, like I mean like SQL database, like a replacement. Yes, thank you, Michael, for the link for Neo4j PHP GitHub. It's a Neo4j community made by Neo4j, and we are collecting all the public repos there. It's really great. If you are interested, you can go there. Yeah. I see Michael answered for my Mitch Moore. Yeah, you can find the libraries there. It is amazing. How did you first figure out enough of the bot protocol to get the start? I was reverse engineering the communication over TCP socket. It was really funny. Also, there was one really old, outdated driver. Uh, and also there was a unofficial bolt protocol specification for version 1, which I also used, but I also did some reverse engineering. It was really funny. But now the situation is way different because we have direct support for from Neo4j team, like Michael Hunger. He's amazing, and there's other guys, and they are really open for discussions, and we can ask any informations we need when we create these drivers for you people. For me, the main difference was the speed, because I felt like the HTTP API was too slow, and that was the reason why I started creating the TCP driver. I don't know, the PHP feels with this HTTP request really slow. It's faster when you open the socket connection and keep it open and communicate with the database. Because if you have like, I don't know, 50 queries on database, for each one you have to create the HTTP connection again and again. But if you have socket still open, you just send the message and it's faster. My talk was planned for 15 minutes, which is already done, and I don't know how this how this works here.
Well, you had a couple of questions, so I was letting you in the live
Thank you
stream.
very much.
Okay, so thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you for having me. It was an amazing experience.
Thank you.